I hope these weekly messages can offer not only some encouragement to people all around the Diocese of Leicester, but also be informative as we think about how we respond as Christians to the pandemic and also to the lockdown. And now as we begin this phase of the lockdown being lifted as well. But today I'm delighted to say that I'm joined by Noel Reyes, who is a Christian living in Leicester and who works in a care home. And Noel has very kindly agreed to join me today to tell me a little bit about the work that he does, but also a bit about his background and the church community that he's part of. So thank you so much, Noel, for agreeing to join me for this weekly message. And I wonder if I can just start by asking you to tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, maybe your family. Tell us a little bit about who you are.
My name is Noel Reyes, and I'm 56 years old, soon to be a senior citizen. I live with my beautiful wife and four lovely children here in Leicester. I moved to the UK from Philippines in the year 2006. And that is because my wife, who is working as a nurse in the NHS, I'm a member and an officer of Leicester Filipino Chaplaincy with Father Herbert Padrequela, our chaplain to the Filipino community, Diocese of Leicester, Church of England, and the current president of Bayanihan Leicestershire, a non-political Filipino community organization here in Leicester.
Well, thank you, as I say, for being willing to join me for this message today. And as I said in my introduction, you work in a care home. Can I ask you how long you've been working there? And then maybe just to say a little bit about how things changed when the pandemic hit and in particular when the lockdown was imposed.
I have been working in a care home or care setting since 2007, and I enjoy working with people with disabilities and challenging behaviors. I understand that the situation with COVID-19 has become very worrying and scary, especially to those who needs day-to-day support. As a carer, it is our responsibility to make sure that everything is put in the proper place while following government measures to protect ourselves and the residents. The daycare activities for the residents was stopped, which was very difficult for them to cope with, causing their behaviors to worsen and become more agitated. When the lockdown was imposed, we all had a lot of adjustment to do. Everything was cut off. Parents who usually visited the residents at certain days or date time was suddenly unable to do so, which I think is unfair to them.
Absolutely. It's been so hard, hasn't it, for many people involved with care homes, whether that be residents or family and friends as well as staff. And we've heard some terrible stories in the news, obviously, particularly about people who have died with coronavirus. And so alongside the bereavement and the loss, we know that this must have caused real fear and anxiety for residents and family, friends, staff, and so on. How have you personally coped with those feelings? And in particular, because I know you are a Christian and part of the Filipino chaplaincy community, how has your Christian faith helped you to cope at this time?
Bishop, my Christian faith helped me face the difficulties in working in a care home where the real situation of pain, suffering, and loss of lives are real. The prayers for my safety and protection, and also those of my colleagues and the residents of the care home, makes me more confident in the work that I do. I always look at my work as an opportunity to serve others, especially the vulnerable, because, and I firmly believe that this kind of work is very close to the heart of Jesus who come to heal and serve those who are sick.
Well, thank you. And we are enormously grateful to you and your colleagues who work in care homes. And I'm pleased to hear about how your Christian faith has been such support and been so important to you during these particular challenges. And I'm also aware that your local church, then the Filipino Chaplaincy, is predominantly people who are from the Philippines, but also people who mainly work within the care sector, either in care homes or in health related jobs of one sort or another. And I heard a very sad statistic just recently, which stated that 15% of deaths among UK healthcare workers were people from the Filipino community. And that compares with only 1.5% of the total workforce who are Filipino. Now that's a huge difference, and it suggests that the Filipino community, almost more than any other in the UK, has been very hard hit by this pandemic. Can you just tell us a little bit about how the Filipino community have been supporting each other at this time, but then maybe also about how the rest of us in the wider church can also be supporting you at this time?
Yeah, when the pandemic was declared in March, and the UK government declared the lockdown, members of the Filipino Chaplaincy and other Filipino groups established collective effort to help the affected and the vulnerable members of the Filipino community. We organized pool of volunteers to do shopping for those who were on self-isolation. We also provided Filipino food to NHS workers in the Leicester Royal Infirmary. And this Saturday, we will again provide Filipino food for NHS workers in Glenfield Hospital, and in the following Saturday to the NHS workers in Leicester General Hospital. We ask that the Diocese of Leicester and the Church of England to pray for all those who are working in the healthcare sector of our society and for all those whom they are serving and caring either in the hospital, in care homes, and in the residence. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Noel. And please, may I assure you of my prayers for you and indeed for all of those working within the healthcare sector and indeed the Filipino community. Please pass on my personal greetings to your brothers and sisters within the Filipino community and to your priest, Father Herbert, in particular as well. And please know that we are praying for you and we are wanting to support you in any way that we can. So thank you again for all that you're doing and for your willingness to be a part of this message this week. My thanks to you
Thank you
and
so
to
much,
everyone who is
Bishop.
watching.